What's up guys, it's me Lego Paradise here, and today I'm going to show you how to build this working Lego bouncy castle. This bouncy castle features a functional bouncing mechanism, which means you can press down anywhere on the surface of the castle and your minifigures bounce up and down just like they would do in real life. And that works if you press down on any part of the surface. See, even if you press on the sides, all the other parts of the bouncy castle bounce up and down as well. You can see that the minifigures bounce up and down quite high up. They can bounce just like on a real life bouncy castle. In addition to that, this minifigure-scale bouncy castle features plenty of colourful decorations, all designed to match the inflatable style of the castle, as well as a tiny air compressor at the back. So that's just a cool little extra detail. This is a great addition to your LEGO fun fairs, carnivals and parties. So let's take a look at how to build it. We'll build the bouncy castle in two parts. Here are all of the pieces you're going to need to build the first half, which will include the base of the castle and the bouncing mechanism. So we'll start by building all three of these inflatable pontoon pieces, which are used for the surface of the bouncing section. So they will use these 2x2 brick pieces, the half rounded ones, on top of two round 2x2 plates. And it's very important that you use the rounded 2x2 plates, as you'll see once we get to the mechanism. And also, you don't have to use the same colours that I'm using for these pieces. You can easily swap out any of the colours that I'm using for this build for your own choice of colour. But once all three of these pieces are assembled, it's time to connect them together. So I'm using a LEGO Technic rubber band. I'll leave a link in the description to the sets which contain this piece if you don't already have it. And basically, you have to thread it through the two gaps in these plates. You'll see there's two gaps right next to each other. This is where the rubber band has to go. So just thread it through and then secure that in place with one of these 1x4 plates with the tile gap in the middle. And you do the same for all three of these inflatable sections. Just thread the rubber band through them in the middle and secure them in place with a 1x4 plate piece. And that's basically the same design for all three of these sections. So then we're almost done with this bouncing surface. All that's left to do is to secure the ends by threading them in to the top of a cone piece. So the cone piece will go upside down if you're doing it from this direction, and then you can clip the cone directly into the middle of one of these 2x4 slope pieces. So that should provide just enough space around the outside. If I bring that closer, you'll see a bit better what I mean. So you have this cone, and that should just go into the middle of this 2x4 slope. And we'll secure all of that later on, but that's just basically where those pieces have to go for the time being. So then you can do the same with the other side. So with this rubber band, this loop on the end, just grab the loop, slide the cone through, and then secure the cone to the middle. You see this anti-stud in the middle of the 2x4 slope. It's a little bit fiddly, this part, but it is required for the bouncing functionality, and the end result is definitely worth it. So don't worry if it's going like this and falling apart at the moment, because that will all be secured in place later on. And you can put this whole assembly aside for now while we build the base of the bouncy castle. So to start out building the base, you're going to want to take a 4x4 angle plate, and underneath that attach a 1x4 plate and another 1x4 connected to a 1x2. Then a second, or a third, in fact, 1x4 plate underneath that, and another 4x4 angled piece just on the end. Then this time a 1x6 plate underneath, and a 1x2 plate with a bar on the end just to fill in the gap. And we're actually going to want to build 2 identical copies of this structure. So you just do the same with the remaining pieces. And that should be nice and quick. This is a relatively simple section of the build. So basically these 2 halves will come together to form the very lower part of the base for the entire bouncy castle. There you go. Now that both of these halves are complete, we can connect them together. So just hold them in place and then secure them on the sides with some 1x10 plates. So they go on opposite ends of the base. Then at the back, use a 1x8 plate and a 2x8 plate at the front. You also can build up the back with a 1x6 brick that can just be clipped over the middle, and you'll see how that all comes together in just a little bit. So before you build this up too much, it's time to combine this with the small assembly we built earlier. This is where we'll basically attach everything together. So you see these cone pieces, they can go directly on these bar pieces that stick out. So just slide the cones over on the top there. Do that for both sides. Again, this isn't where it's going to be secure. I'm going to secure it in just a little bit once it's all stuck together. So for example, if they've stayed together, these pieces, they just go over on the middle. And if they come off, then just reattach them and make sure that they go over the top of the cone pieces and secure everything in place. So if the cone is slightly out, you're just going to need to move the cone back until it's underneath this 2x4 slope brick. So there you go, everything is in the correct place. And you can see how this bouncing mechanism actually works. So basically all 3 of these bouncy surface sections are attached to the rubber band, and when you push down on one of them, all the other ones are also pulled down by the force of the rubber band. So that works really well, and that will be even better once this bouncy castle is complete even more. So let's do that and build it up with all 4 of our 2x2 bricks. They'll go in the corner, on each corner of the structure. Then you can fill in the gaps on the side with some 1x1 slope bricks. So again, this is just for decoration, this part really, but also to provide some support for the bouncing mechanism. And this way, by using slope bricks, it makes it look like it's actually inflated a little bit rather than just straight normal Lego bricks. Then for this back bit, you're going to need to place 1 slope over here, leave a 2 stud gap, and then 3 more slope bricks over on this side. That will leave a small gap for you to place this 1x2 Technic axle brick, and this is where you'll be attaching the air compressor. So that will give a hole for the air compressor to pump the air into and keep your bouncy castle nice and inflated. So then finally, all that's left to do is to build up their entrance. So you'll notice, unlike the other sides, I've left this one open a little bit. And there you go, all of these sections should be secure. Make sure nothing's pressed in too much, and your working Lego bouncy castle should start to shape up. Here are the rest of the pieces you'll need to build the second and final part of your working Lego bouncy castle. So we'll begin by building the corners, which will act as the towers for the bouncy castle. So you can place 3 2x2 round bricks just on top of each other, and then stack 3 more 1x1s on top of that. And you'll need to do this 4 times and use up all of these pieces. So now we can begin to differentiate these corners. So for 2 of them, just place a 1x1 brick on the 3rd space, just like that. And you can place these down and build up their height with a 2x2 round plate and a 2x2 dome piece on top of that. So that finishes up those two. All that's left to do is to attach some flags. So the flags can go on top of two 1x1 orange stud pieces, and these are done for now, and they're ready to be attached to the actual bouncy castle. So now let's build the next two corner towers, and these will actually go on the front of the bouncy castle. So you're going to want to attach these arch bricks to these corners. These will be facing opposite each other to build up this arch, just like that. And they can go slightly apart from each other to make space to see inside the bouncy castle itself. But we won't build up the arch just yet. Let's finish up the tower sections. They just use the same design for the top as the other two, with some flags to finish up that whole bit over on the top there. Then to build this little arch section, this just uses two 1x3 slopes attached to a 1x2 plate, and that will connect both of these towers together. So that just provides a nice little archway as the main entrance to the bouncy castle. And again, you can place this aside for the time being as well. Then to build the walls that feature some simple inflatable crenellations. These are also identical to each other. So for each wall, you take two 1x2 tiles and add some 1x1 slopes in between them. That concludes the actual bouncy castle itself. All that's left to build for now is the air compressor. So just use a 2x2 jumper tile and attach a 2x2 satellite dish piece on top of that. Then two 2x2 round bricks, a 1x2 plate underneath that, and a 1x1 plate with this attachment on the end on that side. Then in the gap there, one of these 1x1 round plates with the bar, and secure that all in place with a 2x2 plate just like that. And then attach a little dial so you can add that to show the air pressure for this air compressor. So you have the round barrel that makes up the actual compressor. Now with all of these pieces complete, it's time to attach them to the base, and this is the fun part. So first we'll start with the compressor. That can just go in the hole, and this is a very cool attachment. You can even have it so there's a space between it, or it's right up next to the bouncy castle with no space. But that looks good either way. And then we can build up the towers on the corners, so they simply go on top of the 2x2 bricks on the bottom there. And clip them down, make sure all of these towers are nice and secure. And these ones with the 1x1 bricks, they should go with the 1x1s facing into the centre, just like that. And then it's pretty simple for the last part. It's just to fill in all of the walls. And the good thing about these 1x6 panel style walls is they even leave a little bit of extra space in the inside of the bouncy castle, so you have a bit more room to display some more minifigures than you otherwise would be able to with regular brick built walls. So now almost done. All that's left to do is to attach your minifigure into the centre, and there you go, your working Lego bouncy castle is complete. So if you enjoyed building it, be sure to give this video a like, let me know what you thought of this design in the comments, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I build lots of different working Lego creations, just like this one. Don't forget to enable all notifications so you know when my latest videos are out. So I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.